Yes, Titan. I did push the button. So here's what it is. For me personally, honestly, it has been just a glorious day of technological malfunction. And it hasn't been just, it has been me. At work, I messed up stuff at work. I missed stuff in customers' orders, and I, hollered, "Oh wait, customer, come back here! I forgot to give you this." And then they leave, and it's like, "Shoot!" And I've got this other thing, and I go chase them off down the street. It's like, "Hey, come back! Forgot to give you this." And then our internet was down, and then it was up, and then it was down, and it was up, and then it was down. And man, I'm really glad I get to sleep in tomorrow. We have a ginormous quartz crystal. It's a heartstone. So it's a quartz crystal. Honestly, I can hug it. I go like this, and my hands don't even reach all the way around it. It's huge. That's at the top. It's on a little bitty pedestal that's probably 18 inches tall. And so when I put my arms around this crystal, I can put my face on it. I mean, it's huge, huge. And I hugged the crystal for like 10 minutes this afternoon because I was so done. Because, yeah, I needed it. I needed just to ground out because, yeah, it's just one of them things. So, Saturday night. It is Saturday night. So I hope you guys are having a good Saturday. And, yes, the call line should be working. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Again, I'm going to just leave it up to operator errors. So if you really want to talk to me, let me know. Yes, I have a big bear hug crystal huggy rock. Yes, seriously. I got to play with dogs today. That was an upside. I don't know. It was like one of those mountain dogs or bear dogs or whatever crossed with a poodle, a standard poodle. So this poodle was huge. I mean, he had paws like the size of saucers, and he was just a happy guy. He just wanted to sit and talk and cuddle and stuff and eat his treats. It was good. That was good. So, I hope you guys are having a good day. Hope it's better than mine. And I'm going to go put my feet in the water tomorrow and let all of this run away. Today is July 18th. So in about 2 weeks, we're looking at the end of July already. Can you believe that? The month is half over. And so we're looking forward to what's up next. So the 1st of August is Llamas or Lunasa, depending on which part of the world you're in. And so I figured, let's just, talk about some ways to celebrate Llamas. It's kind of it is a holiday to celebrate the start of harvest, because in most places in the northern hemisphere, you plant things and eventually they will grow. Apparently not here because it keeps raining. Although my yard grows just fine, and almost had a bale hated this time around. I mean, seriously, it grows like it's insane. But I am not going to get any produce out of any kind of garden this year. I have some flowers. I'm enjoying my flowers. I got lilies and petunias and roses and iris and lilac. Lilac's still done, but I'm enjoying that part. But yeah, and sage. I got sage. So, harvest is for the most part beginning. I don't know where you're at, but the produce in your local farmer's market is probably starting to, or has been for a little bit at least, representing the things that you guys can grow locally. So it's the first part of harvest. In some places, the beehives are full of honey and they need to be, swapped out so that it's just, you keep, having the bees store up that honey. And so what are some ways to celebrate Lammas? And I'll probably do a Lammas something every time it comes around, just because why not? Um, the first suggestion from Moody Moons is have a popcorn party. Make popcorn from scratch. Make a lot of it. You can make gourmet popcorn. You can add stuff to your popcorn. I make it from scratch. Also, I use coconut oil with a little dab of butter, and often I will put garlic and salt actually in the butter when it's melting. So when the popcorn pops, it's got all that flavor to it. It's yummy. There are other flavors you can add. So if you can add a seasoning to your popcorn, you can pretty much do anything you want. You can make popcorn balls. You can make caramel popcorn, chocolate-covered popcorn. Popcorn is just fun. I mean, most people, not going to say everybody, but most people like popcorn. So have some popcorn. It's a good for you snack. It's brain food, as long as you don't put too much stuff on it. Beeswax candles. So, as the bees are, yum. Squatch Snuggler says yeast is healthy and makes your popcorn cheesy. So if you add a little bit of nutritional yeast. Sure, brewer's yeast would be another thing to do if that's your gig. Some people need all that stuff. So yeah, there's lots of things you can do with popcorn. It's such a neutral element that you can add so much to. But yeah, beeswax. So as someone, if you're able to access bee hives and they crush the hive or the different panels to get honey, and they have wax left over, you can melt the wax down to make candles. You can get beeswax sheets and roll them up to make candles. You can do just about anything you want to with beeswax to make candles. You just want to make sure that if you're using or making candles, you're actually using the right string for your wick. Otherwise, there are some potential toxins that can be released into the air, and we don't want that, because that would be yucky and not good for you. You can mix in different essential oils into your beeswax to make even yummier candles. At work, we have a vanilla bourbon candle that I have to tell you is probably almost the best thing ever. The only one that's better is a grapefruit pine, and wow, those two candles are awesome. Pick your own flowers. Sunflowers, right now we have a lot of daisies here, and it's fun because Mini-Me likes to pick them, and then often she's got braids, so we put the daisies in her hair, and so she's got these little daisy crowns, or make a daisy chain for her to wear, or a necklace. And but daisies, sunflowers, the midsummer flowers are often just full of color, and they pop, and they have just this vibrancy to them that is just awesome. And bring it into your home. Love that color. I understand sometimes allergies are real, so often you can get the same flowers, but in silk version this time of year, because they do cycle out the flowers with the seasons in the silk versions also. So at the store. So yeah, you either go pick what you can or don't. Like here locally, we can go huckleberry picking. We can go blueberry picking, cherry picking, strawberry picking, all that stuff. So go experience the world that you live in. Whatever it is you can do. Get out there and enjoy the weather and social distance. So keep 6 feet away from everybody. Understand that just like women's clothes and women's shoes, 6 feet does not measure the same 6 feet for everybody. I learned that today. That was fun. For some people, 6 feet is actually 8 feet. Yeah. So, but no, just if you have the opportunity to go out into the world and either go to a national park or whatever is open around you, do it. And Because you know what? Even though we've got stuff going on and it's interfering with our world and the things that we want to do, our kids are still making memories. They're still trying to figure out who they are and what they want to do. And we need to remember to support them also. And by supporting them and their learning and their creativity and their passions, we're doing the same thing for us. So get out there, do some things. Even if it's, have Amazon deliver some construction paper and do some origami, herons or swans or something. Just because, yeah, you need to do something. Mow your yard, mow your neighbor's yard. Do something to help the people around you a little bit too, if you can. Bake bread. If you've never baked bread, there's quite a few recipes online. A lot of them are really easy. Really easy to make. And you don't have to do yeast bread, although you can. You can also make soda bread. Just real easy. Instead of yeast, you're using soda, and it's good. And if you're going to do that and you have an altar, go ahead and make a loaf for your altar. If you have an outdoor altar, yeah, the critters will love you. Seriously. If you have a Llamas altar or an altar set up for this time of year, take advantage of it. Put the sunflowers, the popcorn, beeswax candles, the baked bread, the whole 9 yards. Put it out there. Put it on your altar. So, yes, bread is cool. It can make your house hot. So there are other ways to bake bread. If you have a local kitchen, public kitchen, like we do here, you can rent it by the hour. You can make bread there, heat up their kitchen. Or if you mix it up during the day, and so it rises in the heat of the day, and then bake it in the evening. That way, as you're going to sleep, you're allowing the heat to leave your house also. Because here in the Northwest, it may get up to 90 degrees during the day, but it'll still get down to 50 in the evening. It's awesome. I love it. But yeah, so back to the Llamas altar. Use the summer colors. Go to the craft store. Go to the thrift store. Yard sales, whatever it is. Find those gold fabrics. Those there's the summer colors. The golds, the reds, the oranges, those vibrant colors that signify, hey, your vegetables are growing. And put it on your altar. Use tea lights. Use candles. Use like Christmas lights, like I have in the back. If you bake bread in the oven, maybe take advantage of putting your oven outside, or there's the bread makers. Those are fun. I have one of those new wave ovens that we can bake bread on the countertop, or I've got a convection microwave oven, so I can do stuff in there also without heating up the whole flippin' house. Try canning to preserve your harvest. Now, if canning is not your thing, I get it. You can freeze things also. So if you don't know how, your local extension agency, which is often associated with 4-H, you can do a lot of that stuff at home. You can also make jams or jellies, butter, apple butter, pear butter, that kind of thing. And often, if you're making preserves of some sort like that, jams and jellies, make sure your sugar content is right, of course, but save it for fall, for your family get-togethers, or give as gifts, for Christmas. So it's just another way to make stuff and as we're sheltering in place and hanging out at home, there's more time to do stuff at home, and often we're starting to get a little bored at this point because you're stuck of being home and tired of it and everything. And, find some other ways to entertain yourself. you can do a home blessing. So the summer months are going to go away. It's not too much further before, the first freeze. Um, and in some parts of the world, snow here in the northern hemisphere. So the warm months are going to be gone pretty quick. Take advantage of being able to open your windows and doors and air things out as much as possible. If you're worried about bugs and you have screens, make sure that you got your screens going on. Use your sage, your incense, and smudge the the Holy Grail right out of your house, because you know what, they've found that like burning sage, that sage smoke, is really good to get rid of antimicrobials and everything. There's scientific studies. I've mentioned this once or twice. Probably keep mentioning it because it's an awesome thing. And that smoke is really good to get stuff out of your house, not just the negative energies, but things that'll make you sick. And make sure you leave a window open so all that smoke can go out. Ooh, go outside. Watch the meteor showers. Yes. Make pancakes for dinner. Embrace the breakfast can be for dinner. Use berries that are fresh right now if you're going to make berry pancakes. Banana pancakes are not bad. Some people like those. So be creative.
Brent has raspberries.
Yeah, of course Brent has raspberries. Brent always has raspberries. He mowed his raspberries. He had so many raspberries. And then Mrs. Brent, Mrs. Portal, wow, does that lady have a green thumb? She can grow anything, anywhere, I'm in awe. I like my houseplants, but she just takes it to the next level. Here in Idaho, it's hard for corn to get very tall. Like corn, like sweet corn that you eat like at a barbecue. She can get it to grow 8 feet, just like you would in the Midwest, where it's humid and things grow longer. And I don't know what her secret is. I've not seen that anywhere else, I have to tell you. So, yeah. But,
Are you talking about Mrs. Portal?
Mrs. Portal.
She's from Indonesia.
I know. She grows like nobody's business. I am just... She's got skills, man.
She does. You should taste her food sometime.
Oh, no. Her food is bad for anybody's diet because it is awesome.
Nope.
Awesome. Yummy food.
Not bad.
And it's cooked from scratch. There's no, chow mein out of a can. It's the real deal. So yeah, make pancakes for dinner. Use your whole grain flours. And add some of the local currently available produce, and you make your own syrup. Simple syrup is super easy is sugar and water, but you can make chutney. You can do just fruit anything, a compote to put on your pancakes. That's awesome. You toast to the sunset. So, as the wheel of the year turns, light begins to recede because that's what happens. We were past the solstice and things are starting to, the nights are slowly getting longer. Days are getting shorter. Honor the sunset and the beautiful colors that we see this time of year. Have some harvest wine, some smudge sticks, have a picnic, out there at the sunset. Enjoy it. Enjoy the peace that happens with the loaming or the setting sun. The next one on this list from Moody Moons is set off leftover firecrackers. You know what? I'm not going to recommend this. Mostly because I have pets and I've had a dog or two that has not responded well to firecrackers. So be careful of those because your pets will not love you if they don't like firecrackers. And in some places, it is the wrong time of year to be setting off firecrackers because, like here, things start drying out, and that's a good way to make a fire. And sometimes those fires are thousands of acres, and that's bad. You don't want to be that guy that sets off, turns your local forest into, a scorched earth because you're blowing off some steam by lighting some firecrackers. So just pay attention. Don't be ridiculous. I get it if you want to. Wait until January. It's a better time of year up here. Anyways. So just some ideas on how to celebrate Llamas, but mostly celebrate the turn of the season and what's happening with the what's going on with the the new holidays that are coming up and such. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere and you want to celebrate Lunasa, we'll talk about that next. See you in a minute, or two, or three. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between. So Mr. Don is in the house, lurking in the corner in the dark. How was your Saturday?
I'd rather be in bed.
That good, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Definitely. So last night, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about crystal grids. And we're going to talk about crystal grids because it's something that I'm seeing more people have interest in. The store where I work at, we have a lot of crystals and stones and such. And we have some stones that are specifically for crystal grids, and we just got a bunch in. They're called wands, but they're like 1.5 inches long, and they're not really wands. They're more just they're really crystal grid stones, and so, anyways, I wanted to know more about crystal grids, and I figured I would share some of that information with you. And basically, a crystal grid is when you take several different stones and set them up in a pattern to help focus their energies for a specific intention. And it could be really simple, something, major. It depends on your grid a little bit. But basically, you're magnifying the specific energetic properties of those stones and crystals, and you're having them work together in a way that is compatible with one another and builds the energy of it to focus for a specific outcome. And it's simple and complex all at the same time. There are different shapes, there's different crystals, and different stones have different meanings and intentions behind them. And you need to do your research, because depending on what you're trying to have as an outcome definitely will impact the different stones that you use. Seriously. So I guess the very first thing to do for a crystal grid is figure out why. Why do you want a crystal grid? What do you want to accomplish with it? Set that intention. It could be something as simple as you want a better job. You want to buy a house. You want to be more healthy. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, write it down. And sometimes the things that you're trying to accomplish are going to be harder than others, and that's okay. But write it down, and you want to write it down on a piece of paper, fold it in half, keep it flat, and then set it aside while we do a little bit more research. So you can Google crystal grids, or Bing, or whatever your preferred search engine might be, and you're going to get several different images, different patterns, different things. They can be circles, they can be squares, they can be triangles, they can be multiple triangles, circles, and squares, and grids, and octagons, and octahedrons, and just, if there's a shape, you can make a crystal grid out of it, basically. Mini-Me has kind of set one up all on her own using the Queen of Hearts. She just laid it out on her dresser and put her little stones on top of it in a rectangular shape, and yep, that's what she did. So, you'll want to, let's see, real quick. So, Lucky says she used this grid spell only once, is with olive leaves, and as ward off a stalker. Is quite effective. So, yeah, you can use them as wards, honestly. And the energy of the stones is the culmination of it. Titan, yes. Birthstones, we can talk about that maybe next weekend, or remind me if I forget. Titan wants to talk about birthstones. Titan, you have a question every time. I like it. It's awesome. Thank you.
We talked about that. That was this last weekend. As a matter of fact, we were watching your show, standing out there in Coloma in the ghost town, and he's like, hold on, I'm asking Paisley a question. I'm like, sweet.
appreciate it because you know what? Some interaction from the audience is awesome. It tells me what y'all are looking for and what's interesting to you. And also what you have concerns about because you know what? There's a lot of information out there and a lot of it is disinformation and a lot of it is very, very confusing. So do what you can. Focus it. I get it. Ask the questions. I'll do the research. I have some of those answers. So,
like he says, I sent her a message so she doesn't forget.
Yep, there it is. Pop up.
Yeah, Justin was standing right next to us. He says, I remember that. Yeah, he was standing right next to us when he said it. That was funny.
You know, I sometimes need a keeper, and I know this, so having people ask questions is a good thing. It helps me. Y'all are my keepers. Thank you. So, you know, what's the best grid shape? Again, that it depends on what you're trying to focus on. So, because there's not a lot of really hard and fast, concrete rules when it comes to crystal grids and energy work. I mean, there are some things, you know, talking about ethics, of course, that are important. But you know, remember that the universe wants to give us what we need and what we ask for. And so when you're writing your intention and what you're trying to ask for something, make sure it's clear in your mind as you're writing it down. And focus on that rather than, you know, try in what your desired result is rather than trying to make your grid perfect.
But does a crystal grid have to be geometric?
There's yes and no. I mean, there are some shapes that have more energy than others.
I would imagine the important thing would be the flow of the magic itself. So,
well, it's not necessarily magic. Even it's energy.
The flow of the energy.
So, yeah, if you've got a stone that's in the wrong place, it can block the energy of the grid. Yes, but it kind of goes to that sacred geometry. That I know Naysay's talked about once or twice, but it's the sacred geometry of it, the geometric shapes, boost power into the grid and help focus it, just like the lens on a telescope, or you know, focuses that energy. But yeah, no hard and fast rules. You want to follow your intuition. And if you Google the images of all the different crystal grids, you're going to see some that look beautiful and glorious and awesome and perfect. And you know what? Real life is not glorious and awesome and perfect. It's messy and muddy and confusing and stuff. So, you know, the grid that you choose or the pattern that you choose is going to be the best one for you. Follow your intuition. Your subconscious does know what it's talking about. You just have to listen to it. So, yes. Now, you can use a piece of paper with a grid on it. You can use a cloth with a grid shape on it of some sort. And I say grid, most people assume I'm talking about squares. No, it could be circles, it could be triangles, it could be images. Like there's the sacred seed or a lotus or... there's another one in my brain that's just not coming. There's dragonfly. There's different shapes. So if you're trying to do a specific shape, you know, why does that shape mean so much to you? What are you trying to accomplish with that specific shape? And some people just to free form it. Honestly, it's unplugged. Sorry. And you know, if you're going to freeform it, you know, sometimes that wild, natural freeform is exactly what you need.
That is a very stark white light.
Yes, it is.
I don't want that in my eyes, thank you.
It's a very bright white light. Oh my gosh. And you can also include bits of nature in your grid, like Lucky did.
So crystals aren't from nature?
Well, like
leaves
leaves and leaves or seeds or
you.
I know. flowers,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish that calls to you. Um, because yes, it has to call to you. It has to have meaning to you, in some way, shape, or form. So when you choose your crystals, again, do your research. Make sure you're picking the ones that are going to help you focus. Often, there's a center crystal. I've seen people use something that has meaning to them. It could be a poppet, like if someone's trying to direct healing energy to themselves. So a poppet that represents themselves. It could be a quartz point, or pillar, or a pyramid, or a sphere, or something. Um, and then the different stones. Yeah, what calls to you. I like amethyst points, the ones that look, call them dragon teeth. Quartz points, tumbled stones. Um, let's see, what else do I like? Personally, I would put acorns on there just because I like acorns. There's just something about acorns. Um, but really, really, truly trust your intuition as you're laying them out. And yeah, the different shapes do have different energy. Courage for is often, a circle shape is really good for courage because it represents belonging, oneness, protection. That's why I'm part of a circle rather than a coven. We belong. You can put grids pretty much anywhere. You can, if you have an altar, that's what you want. Absolutely. If you're concerned about protecting your space, and so you're trying to use crystal grid for protecting your space, you'd put like at the four corners of your property or your home. Or if you're trying to, have good luck come into your life, you could maybe put it at the entry to your home or your driveway, something like that. Some of the grids can be really, really big. I mean, really big. And some can be quite small. I mean, they really.
So you're also talking about permanent structures, though.
They can be permanent structures. I mean, what if Stonehenge was just a crystal grid? I mean,
Felt like it did them.
I don't know. It's a couple thousand years old. It probably worked just fine for them. Nobody's forgotten about Stonehenge. So, squares are good for boundaries. So if you are trying to set boundaries, on your property for protection, squares would be good. Or if you're trying to set boundaries on people that you may be a toxic relationship you don't want to have to deal with, that could be, a real thing. Triangles, spirals are generally reaching and expanding. So if you're trying to learn new things, you're trying to find a house to purchase or a new job or career, the spiral is really good for that. And sometimes you're going to want to place them in spots that will specifically attract the light from maybe the high noon sun or the morning sun, the evening sun, that kind of thing, or the full moon. And whatever it is to draw that extra energy, because lunar energy can often help kickstart things, just like sun energy can. Now, real quick note: if you're putting rocks out into the sunlight, they may fade, because some will fade. Like amethyst can fade, and so can it's orange. I look at rocks all day. Citrine can fade in the sun. So yeah, just be aware. Stones like kyanite, for instance, can help with communication. Rose quartz is really good for self-compassion and love. self-love. So rose quartz is often associated with love in general. But remember, it's not just love of others or love that others are giving to us. It's also love that we have for ourselves. Because, we have to remember to love ourselves. The malachite is also really good for self-compassion, self-acceptance. Prehnite is good for calling in your spirit guides. Amazonite, for instance, for universal love. So you do your research to find out which stones are calling to you. And, there's... It'd be so easy to go broke buying stones and rocks. I work in a rock shop. I refuse to buy as many stones as I want to because I can't carry them all, and some of them are quite heavy, and if I brought down home $50,000 worth of rocks, I would probably be fired or something. And so anyways, if you have other things on hand that call to you, like flower petals, seashells, maybe trinkets. So if you're trying to connect with your spirit guides, what is something that you associate with your spirit guides? Is it snowflake obsidian? Is it bee wings or spider webs or something? What is it? Yeah. Hey, Woods Wizard. Yes, rose quartz can fade. So, just, also, if you have stones, don't be afraid to identify them when you're putting them away. So you're always putting them away in the right place. And you don't forget what they are because lepidolite and lapis lazuli and sodalite, depending on where they're at, if they're polished, can all look very similar. So, yes. Don't be afraid to label things. And then, remember, crystals and stones are from the earth. They're very healing. They're very supportive. We have them around us all the time. If you're putting a grid out in your yard and you're just going to leave it there, make sure it's someplace safe. Because some of these stones really, you don't want to step on them because they're not all polished. We had a customer in yesterday, and they've been finding stones all over their yard, crystals and stones. They don't know what they are, but apparently somebody who lived there previously just sprinkled them all over the place. And they have found some of them by stepping on them, and that just wouldn't be a very good time. Because some of these stones are quite pointy. And so just be careful. But crystal grids are just a really great simplistic way to help focus your energy, focus your intention and what it is you're trying to accomplish. And do your research, make sure you're using the right stones. And if it is going to be outside, make sure it's stones that are going to be okay out in the weather. Because there's some things you just don't want to get wet. Bumblebee jasper is one of them. Not just because of the sulfur, but also it's a poison.
Arsenic?
No. Cyanide. That's what it is. If you get it wet, it can leach sulfur and cyanide, and that would be bad. So let's not do that. Let's see. You can cleanse your space prior to setting up your grid using, sage, Palo Santo, or, salt, whatever it is. But take that visualization, that intention that you've got your folded piece of paper, set it down. First, you put your cloth on top of it, and then lay out your stones. You've got your center stone, and that should be right on top of your written down intention. And then, the other stones out around that particular center stone. People have asked me at work, which stones and how many do I get? And it's like, well, what number, if someone asks you what's your favorite number between 1 and 10, what's the first number that comes to mind? Well, that's often your knee-jerk number. For me, my preferred number is 3, so I'll do multiples of 3. And it may be, I don't know, just 3, whatever it is. And I spoke to someone this morning. Her number was 7, so she was getting 7 of each of the different stones that she wanted to put on her crystal grid. So
that's an interesting way to generate sales.
I don't work on commission. That's not why I do it. But no, if you're, if it's 2, it's 2. But if it's 7, it's 7. It's what, the different, what calls to you. And I asked her, it's like 7 of each, or you want 7, a combination that makes 7. So she did some of both.
How many chakra points are there?
There's 7.
Huh.
Ish. 7 primary, and then there's a whole bunch more.
Yes. Point was.
But, often people, for me, it's, tapping back into that intuition. Because, your gut, your subconscious will tell you what you really need. Titan, you would not need to get 111 stones. You'd need to get 3. So there. But again, do your research, folks. The different stones all have slightly different meanings and intentions that can come with the different stones. Woods Wizard would be a much better resource for that than I am. He knows stones quite well. But other than that, research. There's lots of books that you can download. There's some that you can get in PDFs. You can go to the store or library. Okay, if you can go to any of those places, depending on where you're at, you may be stuck with Amazon or Google Books or Pinterest, and there's quite a lot of different resources online where you can find information on crystal grids and how to use them. But remember, you're setting the intention prior to laying out the grid, and keep your intention in mind as you're collecting the different stones and what you are wanting to accomplish. Because there's different stones are going to have different meanings. There is, let's see. There's one at work that I desperately want. And I believe it's by Judy Hall, and it's called The Crystal Bible. Yes, The Crystal Bible. You can get it Kindle for $13.99. You can get it paperback for $19.79. But she's got a lot of information on the different stones. And you can also, if I remember right, there's an index in the back where if you're trying to accomplish a specific thing or looking for a specific intention or feeling or meaning, you can do a reverse search on the stones too. So you'll want the newest edition. So and do you have to buy a book when it comes to stones? No, but if you're going to work with a lot of stones and crystals and such, it's good to have a resource that is pretty trusted and trustworthy. If Woods Wizard chimes in and says a different book, then I would defer to his expertise, because you know what? He knows more than I do. But the Crystal Bible. I would probably do the most recent edition because she has updated it. And I know we use it at work all the time. People trying to accomplish things. And it's a really, really good tool for the new kids that don't know anything about stones to learn more. So, yeah. Any thoughts on crystal grids there, Mr. Don?
No.
In a minute?
No.
You look like you need a crystal pillow.
I'm dying.
And you know what? Yeah, Lucky actually brings a really quick point there. Um, Men like to buy diamonds, and she would prefer moonstones. So you know what? Diamonds are awesome; they're pretty, but there's other stones out there that are more fun. I like opals.
I can pick up moonstones just
Mm-hmm.
cheap.
Yeah, rock hounding is fun. It's a. I really wanted to do a rock hounding tour of Idaho this summer, but I don't think it's going to happen with everything going on, because there's jade and opal and garnet and sapphire and
We're in the gem state.
yeah, there's other stuff. So on that note, we're going to take a quickie break and hey Cha-Cha, and we'll be right back. And if there's no music again, I'll play the singing bowl. So we'll see you in a bit.
Lord within the sun, as we will, so mote it be, the spell forever done.
Sounds like we're doing the singing bowl. And yeah, Dawn is extra special and can do this without doing the ding, but I got to do the ding. So here's the ding. I have noticed at work I don't get the same sounds. So the different singing bowls that we have, the A through G, um, the D and the F bowl, I can get sound out of pretty easy. The C and the B bowl, I don't get sound, I get vibration. So you don't actually hear anything, but holy cow, can I feel the vibration in my hand? All the way, I can feel it in my bones. So it's very, very bizarre that, I don't know. It's just bizarre. That's all. So yes, the call lines are open if you want to give a call. By the way, it's 213-233-3998. You can always send me an email at wildpaisley@gmail.com. In case you forgot, it's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. So, last night I mentioned I wanted to talk about crystal grids, which we have. We've talked about Llamas, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about was Dreamcatchers. This looks more like a spider web kind of thing going on, sort of, if you've got YouTube. I did the triangle because why not? And I had never made one of those little dream catchers. Mini-Me wanted one because occasionally she has nightmares, and I just wanted to do something for her. Goodnight Bomber and Squatch Snuggles. And if it's the same person.
That's Bomber.
Okay. Anyways,
She's FKA, formerly known as.
Formerly known as. Gotcha. So Mini-Me wanted a dream catcher as well. She wanted hers to be a rainbow with a heart in the middle of it and mostly circular. So I've been working on it. And I was like, seriously, kid, this is the second ever dream catcher I've ever made in my life ever. So, yeah. And Sonia sent me a picture of one. Super secret safe place in the cell phone. And I will try to pull it up. It was pretty awesome. I have to say there, Sonia. Wrong spot. Doggone it. And Dreamcatchers. So just going to talk about Dreamcatchers a little bit, with the meaning, the history, etc. It's Dreamcatchers generally have to do, obviously, with dreams. Psychologists have been trying to, interpret dreams pretty much since, forever ago. And I do have a Sonia, but it didn't come through very well. It's a little fuzzy. Here up. I know it's like cheating.
That's just send it to your and pull it up on. Jeez.
Send me another one, Sonia. I'll open it up. Anyways, so psychologists have been trying to figure out dreams forever, and we've talked about dreams and the meanings and such in the past, and sometimes, dreams really are just our subconscious going slightly insane, but other times it's our subconscious trying to communicate with us and get a message through, and other times there are scary stuff. So dream interpretation has been part of the Native American cultural and spiritual beliefs pretty much for centuries, forever, because the American tribes believed that dreams influence the conscious soul of the dreamer, often acting as a means for change in personality traits like confidence, maturity, kindness, and loyalty. And this is from NativeAmericanVault.com. And so If Nace pops up, he'll recognize this. So dreams have always been a fundamental part of like the Ojibwe culture. It has many purposes. Prophecies. Dreams can be very prophetic. They show future events that will affect an individual or a group. Names. Spiritual leaders can receive names of newborn children through dreams, or just naming ceremonies in general. So if you're looking to to name someone. Spiritual strength. Often the tribal people will meditate, pray, and fast in an attempt to bring on dreams that'll give them spiritual guidance during trying times, kind of like we're experiencing now. And symbolism. Often dreamers will see a lot of symbolism in their dreams, and that'll have meaning to them throughout their lives. So you may, if you're using dreams or getting symbolism from dreams, you may want to make a charm or have a charm that will remind you of that particular symbol to help guide you. And it may be something that you carry with you, have placed in your casket or when you pass, just to give you strength in the afterlife. So, let's see. Frances Densmore was an ethnographer who dedicated her life to working with the different Native American tribes and writing some of the history involved. And so she wrote, and I'll put this in the show notes just because I think it's good information. She talks about some of the misunderstandings with the Dreamcatcher, because originally the Dreamcatcher was meant to ensnare harmful influences in the web to keep the negative dreams or the bad dreams from...
Like Freddy Krueger.
You're just weird. That kind of came out of the blue. You're not even on the screen right now, dear.
I know.
Okay.
It just looked like I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, a little bit. You look tired, man. Oh. I'm trying to send myself a message and I can't see. This getting blind as you get older is real, and it's highly annoying. I'm just saying. There. So, yeah, the Dreamcatcher is meant to keep, negative stuff out of your dreams. And let's see, the web will trap the bad dreams or dark spirits and allow good dreams to escape through a small hole in the center of the web and into the child's dream. So, beyond the protection and enhancement of the children's dreams, dream catchers were believed to have worked equally as effective for adults and families. So many lodges had dream catchers hanging above the family's sleeping area in order to filter bad spirits from everyone's dreams. So as trade spread and intermarriage with different tribes spread, the concept of dream catchers spread to other tribes, such as the Lakota from the Ojibwe. And now dream catchers are pretty much a solid assumption that people are going to find them in any store that's going to have tribal paraphernalia in it. Because many of the tribes accept the concept of the dream catchers and have incorporated them into their own cultures as a way of retaining the traditional spirituality. So there's two legends that Frances Densmore references here. The first one is from the Ojibwe. And it goes, a grandmother watched patiently each day as a spider spun his web above her sleeping place until one day her grandson noticed the spider and tried to kill it. Don't hurt him, she told the boy in a soft tone, surprising him. But grandmother, you should not protect the spider, he says. When the grandson left, the spider thanked the woman for her protection and offered her a gift, I will spin you a web that hangs between you and the moon so that when you dream it will snare the bad things or bad thoughts and keep them from you. At this the grandmother smiled and continued to watch the spider spin his web. Kind of pretty, although it's a little bit Charlotte's Web. But still, a spider has a lot of meaning in the tribal heritage. So the other legend here is from the Lakota, and it goes, while receiving a spiritual vision high on a mountain, a Lakota leader met Ikitomi, who is a trickster who also held great wisdom. Appearing to the leader in the form of a spider, Ikitomi made a hoop of willow and spun a web inside of it. He told the aged Lakota man that many forces, both bright and dark, would attempt to enter people's dreams, and that the Dreamcatcher he was making would catch the bright forces and allow the dark ones to slip away and burn up. Ikitomi instructed the old man to make Dreamcatchers for his people so they could all achieve a bright future by capturing the good dreams that are blown about by the winds of the night. So depending upon your beliefs, the Dreamcatcher can either catch the bad dreams or they can catch the good dreams. So I think if you were going to make or acquire dream catchers, you really need to stop and think about, again, the intention. Just like I talk about with everything else, intention is really, really, really important. What is the purpose? If you're looking to, trap good dreams so that you have the good dreams, then that's the attention you should focus if you're creating a dream catcher. But if your focus is to stop the bad dreams from entering into your dreamscape, then that should be your intention. So if you're making the dream catcher, that's the whole thought process there. Now, if you're purchasing one that's pre-made, it's a little harder. I mean, you need to stop and think about, what is the intention that you're going to use with this particular dream catcher. Because the different parts do have different meanings, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So if you purchase one that's pre-made, you'll need to set the intention of it. I would do a cleansing with the sage smoke or the moonlight, and then do a short chant and set the intention of it. That way, the results are exactly what you want. Mini-Me, the purple rainbow yarn that we're using, she wants rainbow and unicorn dreams. So I guess we're catching the good dreams. So Aussie is wrestling cattle. Sounds fun. Night, Aussie. Rustling. Aussie's rounding up title, but you can wrestle cattle. That's what happens at
cattle rustling, not wrestling.
Rustling cattle means you're stealing them. It's bad.
I doubt Aussie's out there wrestling cattle.
So,
oh my gosh.
Don's gonna poke out his eye.
If I can get it open.
So, Frances Densmore also, in her articles and her writings, talks about the different aspects of a dream catcher and what they mean. And this is just her interpretation. So again, like I say every time, do your research before you commit to doing something, so you make sure that you're doing what you need to. And Justin, I do not advocate cow tipping, although I've heard that it can be fun. I don't know. I've never actually gone cow tipping.
Here comes Frank!
You're so weird. So, Dreamcatcher, every part of a Dreamcatcher has a meaning. The hoop itself is a wooden hoop, often either circular or teardrop shaped, and it serves as the frame for the web. But some believe that it represents the circle of life. The web itself traditionally is patterned after a spider's web. It's to catch bad dreams or good dreams, depending on intention, and to either keep them from entering the dreamer's head in the case of bad dreams, or to encourage them to enter the dreamer's head in the case of good dreams. Feathers. So Several purposes are assigned to feathers that hang from the hoop. Many believe they provide a soft ladder for the good dreams to glide down and gently enter into the dreamer's mind. And Cookie wants to know why you tip over a cow. Maybe it's a country thing. Some people think it's fun. Don't know why you tip over a cow. In contemporary dream catchers, often beads are added and other things. So a single bead is often represented. Let's try this one more time. A single bead often represents the spider that made the web. As so many beads or hanging beads can represent good dreams that have been trapped during the night. Gemstones. Because some of the feathers that are traditionally used in dream catchers cannot be owned by everyone and are illegal to possess, gemstones are often used to replace the symbolism of the feathers. You can use other feathers. You don't have to use eagle feathers, but just be aware. And
turkey feathers don't bring that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Right, but
they're easy to get hold of.
Truth. So yeah, if you're using feathers, especially if you've accumulated them in the wild, know your feathers before you use them. Honestly, and sometimes it's better just to go buy some. Or if you know someone with chickens, you can get some really awesome chicken feathers too. Granted, they're not the same as eagle feathers, and I get it, but just.
Well, chickens are very grounded.
Yes, they are. So are a lot of turkeys. They can't get their fluffy butts up. Anyways.
It's hard to soar with eagles when you work with a bunch of turkeys.
Ooh, I like it.
You've never heard me say that before?
No.
Oh.
No, normally you're poking your eye out. Arrowheads are often used for increased strength and protection. So some people will add arrowheads to their dream catchers. And sometimes people will add 4 arrowheads to point to the 4 corners of the earth or directions from which the wind blows, the north, south, east, and west. So now there's been a lot of commercialization with dream catchers because they're everywhere and a lot of people buy them. So often the customary materials have been left on the shelf because some things are easier, like fishing line is easier to find or to use than nettle fiber, or using balsa wood instead of willow, or synthetic feathers and beads instead of real ones. So, and a lot of non-natives produce and sell dream catchers, so that really confuses the spiritual traditions. So, like for me, I made the triangle one for me, and I'm making the rainbow one for Mini-Me, and that's where we're making them for ourselves. That's just a part of the wild crafting adventure that I'm using for Mini-Me as we're trying to figure out her whole education. Let's see. So if you are purchasing a ready-made dream catcher and the person who you're buying it from says it was made by someone in the Native American community, it actually has to have some sort of label to that effect. It's not something you can just say, oh yeah, some tribal person that I knew somewhere sometime made this. It's got to be labeled appropriately to show that yes, it truly is a tribal dream catcher. And let's see. Remember, intention, intention, intention. If you're making one, or if you're using one. There is some concern. Is a dream catcher an authentic symbol, or is it cultural appropriation? I know. You guys can almost hear Don, rolling his eyes.
His eyes behind his eyelids.
Yeah. Because a lot of the authentic dream catchers are harder to find because most that you're buying today they're American rather than Native American, and they're not made out of, locally sourced materials. They're plastic or fishing line, something like that are easier to find and work with. And a lot of Native Americans do see the selling of dream catchers as a symbol of cultural appropriation or over commercialization, and misused by non-natives. So just be aware. So if you're purchasing one that's ready made, be aware of the source and the meaning behind it. Um, so Justin wants to know, my wife channels energies and many times they're negative and they just hit her out of nowhere. Is there a way to maybe block them or redirect those kinds of negative energies? And Cashew is asking for some clarification, and it's a good one. Is she calling energies to her, or are they just kind of random? Because, a lot of that negative energy comes at you without really knowing where it came from. It may be worth it, Justin, to do a poppet to represent your wife, and keep it at home inside of a salt circle, to just kind of give her a just that protection barrier, or
Crystal grid.
you could do a crystal grid, yes. Let's see. Black tourmaline is good.
I have a quartz tourmaline.
The black tourmaline's kind of, think of it as a bodyguard stone, if you will. Kyanite. Kyanite. Let's see. Just remember, quartz crystals are kind of an amplifier. So if you have quartz crystal, I can't spell, put it with the kyanite or the black tourmaline. Yeah, and I would, if you can, Justin, I'm just trying to think, a pendant of some sort with like a pink Himalayan salt or cascarilla powder. Amethyst would be good. Kyanite dispels blockages and helps energy move gently through the body. It's calming. It brings about tranquility. So, it won't retain negative vibrations or negative energies. So kyanite would be good. Black tourmaline is one kind of a go-to. I can't spell. We're almost to break as I'm trying to spell. Black obsidian's good. Actually, black obsidian in general is pretty good. It's a psychic protection stone. So it'll help shield you against the negativity. But keep in mind that black obsidian can also fuel prophecy and precognition. So, I would almost take her to a rock shop, Justin, and have her pick something out, because different things are going to have different, she's going to connect with them differently. Let's see, fluorite would be another good one, because it neutralizes negative energy and stress. Yes, tiny mirror or on a piece of jewelry near, if that So D says, try a tiny mirror on a piece or jewelry near where she sits. So in a lot of like medicine man type stuff, energy stuff, and shamanistic type things, mirrors or reflective surfaces are often used, and it's to reflect the negative away, and it confuses that negative energy, so it's harder for it to attach itself to someone by accident. So having reflective jewelry would be good, or yeah, just in general having a mirror, a reflective surface of
Well,
some
mirrors
sort. So.
mirrors are also connected to trapping spirits
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm. So on that note, guess what? It's break time. Last break of the night. So we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea. I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto the songs of Mother Goddess and the Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between. This is our last segment for the weekend. Isn't that crazy? It's been a fast weekend. And hey, guess what? Lucky joined. Hello, Lucky. Are you there?
Good evening, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I
Good.
think I'm doing well.
You think you're doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
I have been a walking
I had to check, I don't want to lie about it.
I've been a walking technical issue all day, so I'm glad someone's doing well.
A lot of people have had technical issues. It seems like the machine's frequencies are out of whack. It started, I think, last Wednesday, Thursdays, things started happening.
Shungite is your friend.
Yes, it is.
If you can get some
Yes, it
shungite,
is.
you should put it next to your stuff. It'll help. Just in general.
I do have shungite there, but I also know that sometimes the universe, as opposed to let's just use the term universe for what I mean to say. Sometimes we are supposed to get away from the machines for a little bit. Sometimes we are needing to go balance out, go barefoot in our yard, things like that. And that's the time to do it. When the machines are acting so stupid, you just got to get up and walk away.
Yep. Woods Wizard says hematite, and he's a geologist. He kind of knows rocks. So
I love hematite. It's my favorite of the dark stones. It's my favorite. And shungite I like for machines, electrical machines.
So at work, I added a salt lamp next to our primary computer today, along with shungite.
Oh yeah,
yeah, shungite and the hematite, because it was just, I was ready to throw it out the window. And it honestly, somebody oopsed, and one of the internet focal points for the region got compromised. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it's not working as well as it could be. So it's spotty for other people. My internet is actually doing just fine for once. So
yeah, yours connection tonight. Isn't it funny how when everybody else's stuff goes all wonky, I mean, cars, when we all talk together and we learn that other people have had, like, there's all kinds of people with problems with their cars, but yours is just running perfectly fine right now. Isn't that odd? Sometimes you just get to have the shining moment with a particular aspect of life where everybody else is just going through a lot of challenges.
Right.
I think it's a moment to be grateful.
Absolutely. So what's new on your path, my dear? It's been a while since we chatted.
What's new on my path? Well, I know, right? That's true. We didn't even talk on the phone this week, did we?
No.
Well, this makes up for it. Yay.
Yes.
Let's see, new stuff. I've got new assignments I'm working on, so I am working. So that takes away my time from being online. It takes away time from being able to connect with all my TFR folks. And I'm like, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I've got to get money now, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be the best employee that I can be, the best person as to connect with, for others to connect with, new people that I'm dealing with. And it's really neat how you can look at somebody and you can tell they're totally from a different station in life than you are, or they represent themselves as a person from a totally different station in life. But you find out later on, when you talk to each other on the phone, that you're both hippies. And I love it.
Right? Isn't that
I
fun?
can't believe I'm being called a hippie. I just can't believe I even refer to myself, even in jest, as a hippie. It's like, all right, whatever. I've grown up. I've grown up in the past year or two or three. It's like I don't care. Okay, you call me hippie. I've been called worse. Whatever, But no, seriously, because there was a lot of technical issues this week with electrical machines and computing machines, and I'm going to use the word machine like it is. It's a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And so helping other people with their machines and things like that. At the same time, my hands are getting hotter and hotter and hotter because of the Wi-Fi that's going through, the signal is going through my hands. And I'm like, ow, and I don't like it, but it's okay. I can just brush off my hands like that and brush off my arms, all that negativity, the frequencies that's going negative. But I do pick up my quartz crystal, especially the terminated end quartz crystal. That I like. It just feels good. Or I'll go out mushroom hunting and I'll touch some of the mushrooms out there, even because I'm not going to harvest them, but I'll touch them so that I can feel the network, that connects underneath the earth, So just anything to ground properly. And I think that's a great way because the mycelium, it's a network. It's a network under the whole earth, That's quick connect.
Yes.
I don't know. That's how I have to do it.
Well, I'm totally excited to go get my feet in the water in the river tomorrow because there's just some things I want to rinse away because you know what? Sometimes we just got to rinse stuff away.
Right. I'm going to have to go through a creek because our river down here, it's pretty, yeah. It's grody. I said grody. It's when I was a kid, I knew it was dirty and everything. And what was it, about 10, 15 years ago? One of my nephews got into the river and he had a white t-shirt on and shorts. And he came out and that came out of the river and the t-shirt was brown. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's dirty. And it's not just because of soil being stirred around. It's just, pollutants and such. But you have to get into living water. You have to get into good water.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm totally spoiled at here because our water is so clear. You can see 40 feet down. It's so clear. You don't.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Carlton. Yes. Lucky's talking on the phone. And so, yeah. It's. I see other people in the water that they have to drink, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, because I've got awesome water. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about water, and I'm glad Carlton's in here too. In the chat room too. He can probably throw some knowledge our way too. And that is living water. And the best way for living water to be living water is it goes over rocks and a natural or a nature path. It takes a nature path, just like how we feel clean after we come out of the woods and walking in nature. Mm-hmm. So too does water. Mm-hmm. It feels good after it goes through nature. And rocks, a lot of rocks, if you have water, a waterfall going over a bunch of rocks, and I'm not talking about the big grandiose picturesque Niagara Falls stuff. I'm talking about even a fountain with a lot of stone in it, mm-hmm. that releases negative ions, which mm-hmm. is healthy for us. And that helps. So too, when we put our feet in the water, it is best for it to be living water. And apparently you do have living water, which apparently it has to go over a lot of rocks because it must be I think the alkalinity or pH factor is good. It's going to be alkaline. We'll probably find that's true.
Yes. If you can ever get out here, you will not want to leave.
Oh, God, I want to get on a plane right now and go. Right. I really do. I want to come out there. Come see you. Come see Brent Thomas also. Yeah. Of course, the Geos out in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. But I definitely want to come out there. You keep on talking. And I really would like to see Carlton's farm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is awesome. I mean, yes. I'm so grateful that he's got videos and he posts them so that we can learn about farming properly.
Mm-hmm. Well, and farming, is very sustainable if it's done correctly. You don't have to have a lot of chemicals and additives and this and that if you're, paying attention to what you're putting into your soil. And a little bit of biological material from your farm animals goes a long way towards, keeping the nutrients in the soil. And it's just kind of a microcosm of the cycle of life,
I have a question for all the people that's listening that gardens. And my question is, do you put crystals in your garden? I mean, bury them in the soil with your garden?
So,
If not, why not?
yes, and also no. So,
Huh? Wait a minute. What?
so yes, there are crystals in some places. Like most of my pots, I know I have some sort of crystal in there. Any of the potted plants, mostly because it's just it made sense to put them in there. But as far as in the garden, not so much, just because it's the garden and I'm out there barefoot and I don't want to step on crystals and such. So,
Right. I'm talking about buried. I bury that. When I first got this piece of property and I moved in here. Hi, puppy. Aw. Oh, baby, look at your baby puppy. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm sorry. There's a puppy in the screen here. Anyway, I put silver in the soil also,
hmm
and there's resonance in both of them. And the reason why I do that, that's something from old school magic that I learned a long time ago. And that is because, even though you've buried it, you've forgotten where it was, in the future, a child is going to find those items. And that is huge magic.
yes. In the store where I work, we have a plant. I don't remember the name of the tree. It's a tropical one, and it's in a pot that's about half the size of a wine barrel, roughly. And
Mhm.
and it's got, I think, 8 main branches, and they spiral up to the ceiling, which is about 15 feet. And then one set of branches goes to one end of the store, and the other set of branches goes to the other end of the store. So the whole thing, if we were to, lay out the branches, they're in opposite directions, about 30 feet, and just I'll have to remember to take pictures of it so you guys can see it, because the
Yeah.
energy of these is just it's half the reason why I like working there. Are you kidding me? You walk in and it's relaxing. Even if there's 60,000 people in the store, it's still peaceful
Mhm.
because all the crystals and the energies and the rocks and the plants and the singing bowls and the flutes and all the but in our plants
Mhm.
we have quartz pieces in all of them, just because
Nice.
and it seems to be working because we fertilize them and we water them and they keep growing, and every so often something will break because it's just that big, and so we get to bring things home.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Well,
So
you were talking earlier about grids and using
hmm
stones and crystals in grid work.
hmm
For permanency, one can do a grid like that and cement it in place, cement the pieces in place with the intent and everything like that, and also hang it up later on when the cement dries. You can hang it up as an artistic piece on your outside or inside or whatever
hmm
have you.
yes.
Um, Not to say everybody should do that or anything like that, but it can be done if there's an option for you to do that also, to make a permanent fixture grid.
Yeah, so the crystal grids really, a lot of it really has to do with what is it you're trying to do, your intentions, because your true intentions. And when I say intentions, because
Hmm.
often we say, oh well, yeah, I want to do X, but your desire
Hmm.
to do X is not as strong as your true desire to do Y. And so,
Mhm.
even though you're saying, no, I really want to do X, but in your mind, you're saying, but I wish I could just do Y. Um, you have to pay attention to which is your true intention, which is it that you really want to accomplish, because that's what's going to manifest rather than the one that you're saying out loud or,
You've got that right. That's a matter of personal integrity.
hmm
That's personal integrity, because even the thought that that could happen in your mind as you're going to set your intentions and you're setting your casting spell or doing a work, if you will.
hmm
What's the intention without anything else interrupting your mind and interrupting or trying to insinuate itself into, or any other will
hmm
trying to insinuate itself into your work.
Exactly.
And because that will still, it's just like a recipe on the stove.
hmm
You
Yeah.
know, you can say, "Oh, I want to try this and try this and try." I know I need to do it this way. Oh, just put a little bit of cinnamon in there, just a sprinkle of cinnamon in there. Make it interesting. Boom! You've ruined the recipe, or you've affected
Or
somebody else's day.
or you haven't looked
Huh?
at the bottle correctly and it's not actually cinnamon and you just dropped cumin into something. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's you need to be you need to pay attention. So, but yeah, that's why I talk about meditation, journal it, write it down, write down what it is you're
Hmm.
trying to accomplish or what your intention should be and read it. And then walk away and come back to it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's not quite what I needed. And sometimes you have to, um, you know, just journal a page or two. What is it I really want to accomplish today? What was really my plan? What was really the thing that I want to be doing? Or, what is it that I think is my true obstacle? So, um,
You
yeah, you
know,
just,
I would say it this way: when you're writing out your goal for this work, imagine yourself in the future and you have a lawyer that's trying to defend you. All right. And you look at the thing again as a lawyer would and see what kind of legal, when I say legal, I mean, just for the exercise purposes, what kind of things can be said about this work that I missed? I did not cover the bases. You know, having chance, you and I have discussed crossroads, Hecate, and chance meetings,
mm-hmm,
and the discussion about that. And I only told you that day because I know you're responsible enough to know how to cover the bases, if you will, and
mm-hmm,
cover any loopholes that might be, that any enemy might use to get in.
mm-hmm,
I think that's where I mean to go is as you're writing up this thing, cover any loopholes. My intention is this for the purposes of this, for this person, and why I want this person to be blessed by this. Those specific things, you've got to put all that stuff down. That way you can stay focused on it. And in the future, if you forget about this one because you've been practicing so much, you're like, what is this about? You'll look at it and say, oh yeah, I remember that because that was my intention and this was this, and all these different things. And you'll be like, I'm glad I covered this because I recall after that, this and this and this happened. And that's why you
mm-hmm.
need to write down the results of your work also.
Yeah,
Um,
yes. Because, yeah, if you write down, okay, this is my intention and this is when I did it and I gave it this amount of time, so say 7 days for it to do its thing, and what happened or what didn't happen. And then, meditate on that. Why didn't it happen? Why did it happen?
mhm,
And part of that is to not only reinforce what you did correctly, but also to understand what may have gone not quite the way you wanted it to. Because if something
mhm,
didn't go quite the way you wanted it to, why? Why didn't it? And often it's because our
mhm.
intention wasn't true to what we really, really needed or what
You
we were
know,
really looking for.
specifically in point, I had to do a banishing. I had to get somebody out of my life one time, and because they proved to be dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
crazy or dangerous, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I needed them out of my life, and I had seen them in my mind's eye as I was casting this work. I was casting this spell to get them out of my life, and in my vision of this person as I was doing the work, I saw them in their truck, and I was banishing them from my driveway. Okay, and making sure so that they could not come into my house. If they cannot get into my driveway. And it worked. It worked wonders, except for I failed to consider that the person would not pull into the driveway, but instead pull up on the street and just park in front of my mailbox, which I did not consider because he never did that before. But he pulled up and parked in front of my mailbox. See, I did not consider the basis. I did not cover all the loopholes. See the loopholes there?
Yep.
So you have to be specific when dealing with the spiritual realm, when dealing with magic. You must be specific. Yeah?
Yep, you do. It does need to be specific. It needs to be clear. And remember, stuff like that is often very two-dimensional. So sarcasm, humor, anger, all of that isn't really going to come through. It's just the words. So make sure you understand what the meaning of the words is.
Right.
So
yeah.
Just Marilena said she had a dream of Paisley during the night. Oh, she dreamt about me. I told her something, but she doesn't remember it anymore, and it's slowly disappearing. Everything like it never happened. How bizarre. Journal things, Mary. Mary Bond.
I can't say anything about that. My dreams are so vivid and so fast. It's like a Rolodex going by. Flip, 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 all these dreams going through. And I'm talking about a dream. I saw my father. All right. And he's been dead since 91. And I don't dream of him. I don't dream of him anymore. It took a long time for me to get rid of the dreams of him because they were not pleasant. But in this dream, we were either on a train or on a bus or public transit, like in Europe. And he was just sitting there, and he looked a little bit different, like not only aged, but like he had different nutrition throughout life. I don't know how to explain what I mean, but it was my dad. He didn't say anything. There were no words exchanged, and I wanted to talk to him, but boop, I flipped to a new dream already. But it was strange. Like I said, I'm having a lot of vivid dreams that are flipping through like a Rolodex. It's not like if I was to wake up and start writing stuff down, it's too much. I wouldn't get any sleep. Because as soon as I close my eyes, I'm starting to dream already.
I have been sleeping so hard lately that it's hard for me to remember any of my dreams. So I've got a notebook next to my computer, my bed, just in case, because sometimes I try to remember. So, Marie Bond, I will put that in my intention thought process, and see what I can dream for you, my dear, to see if there's something that I need to tell you. So yeah, she says there's
really,
something. Yeah. Well, I told her something in a dream. She can't remember it, so it's kind of disappearing like a thread. So interesting. And yes, the Woods Wizard says it's west-northwest if you want to see the comet that's still out there tonight. So, and new moon's coming up on the 20th. So intention setting. Yes, set your intentions. New moon in 2 days. So yeah.
Yay.
Yes, what do you want
there's
to
things to be
accomplish
done
for the next month? So apparently we've got the bubonic plague is the 2020 bingo OMG calendar bingo. So it was not aliens. I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping for aliens, but bubonic plague, I didn't see that one coming. So now I need a plague mask. So
you're gonna get that. No thanks, I'm not gonna get a plague mask. I'm just gonna go, that plague thing is it's funny because that was actually mentioned a few months ago, and I said back then, I said, well, they better not come out with a plague because I'm done for then. I'm allergic to the plague serum, whatever that is. But if I understand, I thought plague was a stinking bacteria. Can't we get,
It's a
some antibiotics or something?
it's a bubonic plague. Yeah, it's something that can be treated by medications nowadays. It's not the same death that it was once upon
So
a
why
time.
did they have a serum? Why did they have a vaccine set for the military?
I
Makes
don't.
me wonder. No, it doesn't. I already know the answer.
As you say, you know the answer to this
Same
one.
reason why the COVID. Huh?
Said you already know the answer to all this. I don't have to tell
Yeah,
you.
it's the same reason why they have the COVID vaccine, this brand new COVID vaccine that hasn't gone through human trials or enough studies
Yeah.
in my for my liking, or even the FDA's, liking.
Yep.
But the
So
enlisted
I
personnel of the military are
gotta.
getting it first.
Yeah. All right. So guess what? We're all out of time.
Oh, God, that went fast.
Yep.
Wow.
So everybody, set your intentions. New moon's coming up in 2 days. I guess I'm talking about birthstones next weekend, and send me an email at wildpaisley.com. Try this. Wildpaisley@gmail.com. It's been a day. Merry
Lord,
meet and merry part and
so
merry meet again. And lucky stay put. I'll be right back.
be the
Good night, everybody.
shepherd of